welcome back to Beyond Surface Level. Once again, I'm Bea, and for this week's episode, I decided to step it up a bit and try to look decent, try to not look like I just rolled out of bed. So I decided to kind of freshen up. And yes, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, I am in fact on my bedroom floor because I don't know, why not? and I'm just waiting for my friend because she will be the guest for this week's episode. If you're following the page on Instagram, then you would already know who the guest is. But if you're not, well, you should. And this week's guest would be Kaye Nicerio. I'll let her introduce herself later on. And also, that's one of the reasons why I decided to step it up a bit this week because she's a fashion student and I kind of want to impress her, I guess, and show that okay, I can look decent if I try. So, anyways, without further ado, here's Kay.
Hi, I'm Kaye Nicerio, and I'm an incoming second year fashion design and marketing student from the School of Fashion and the Arts. And I'm here to talk about my self love journey.
Okay, so with that, or before we go deeper into the topic, can you share with us a bit more about yourself? Like, what would you want people to know about Kay? Just a couple of really fast facts.
I think as a person, I am very outgoing, goal oriented, and also passionate in everything I do.
Wow. Okay. So for the viewers out there or those who are listening on Spotify, just to let you guys know, Kay and I were actually classmates back in senior high school. And I could say that Kay has really grown a lot from when we were in senior high. And I'm super duper proud of the person that she is now. So, okay, coming from that, can you share with us your self love journey and some tips for those who may be struggling with that?
Well, my self love journey started when I went to college and finally followed my desired course because I feel like that's the time when I became genuinely happy and passionate in everything I do. I mean, going back kasi to high school, when I was in high school, I know that I really wanted to pursue a business related course. But then, towards the end of senior high, I realized na a business related course is not something that I want to take in college. Well, I do like business, but I feel like I wanted to take a course that would really reflect my personality and at the same time a course that I'm truly passionate about. So I decided to go for fashion. And then when I started college, that's when I felt like everything went smoothly. I started meeting people who support me, and I started to build relationships with people who positively affect my mindset. And those people are the same people who contributed a lot to my growth as a person.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you said about surrounding yourself with people who have really been a big inspiration to you or have really motivated you a lot and have really made an impact on your self love journey. Because I think that's also really important to surround yourself with like minded people and to build a strong support system, not just like within your family, but also with your friends. And I'm super duper glad that you found that actually.
Yeah, it's in college and it's when I finally decided to follow my passion, where I finally accepted myself, my flaws, and finally let go of my insecurities. So that's where my self-love journey started.
I agree. And I guess I could also relate it to one self love tip that I guess worked for me or was part of my self love journey. Like the first main thing that I could really recall was the fact that I acknowledged my mistakes, like things I've done in the past. And before, I used to really beat myself up for those things and just keep telling myself, I kept getting guilty that I did all of those things and I felt really bad about it. But at the end of the day, people would always have something to say about you. Like, regardless of what you do and regardless of how you really try to improve yourself or really try to be a better version of yourself, people would, I guess, you couldn't really control how they think of you. So it's important that you really know yourself as well. And aside from acknowledging your mistakes and that you've grown from it, don't let your mistakes define you as well, and use it as instead as a learning experience that will shape you into a better person, because you've now that you've learned from it and you've, I guess, like made up for it now, or you felt remorse over the things that you've done before. I guess what you could do now is to really just learn from that experience. Yes, it did happen and it's all in the past now, and you can't really change what happened in the past. So what you could change or what you could do something about is how you would react to it in the present, or how you would let it affect you right now. And I feel that we're actually really lucky that we're in such a loving environment, and we're surrounded by people who have so much love and show so much support and motivation for us. But then at the same time, also have to, I guess, acknowledge that not everyone would probably have the same experience. Because personally, I could really relate to that. And I just feel that I was very lucky enough to have really supportive parents who supported me all the way, as in whatever endeavor I wanted to, like, try or get into, or whatever, let's say, activity, or basically anything that I wanted to do. They were very supportive about it. But then I understand that not everyone would probably have the same experience. So I guess, like for you, for example, like what can you suggest to people who may be struggling with that, who, for those who feel that they're not supported enough, or they're not surrounded by people who are supportive to them?
Yeah, I do agree with you na we should surround ourselves with people who would have a positive impact on us, and also at the same time we should also acknowledge na not everyone may have the same experience. So if you feel like no one is there to support you, I think it's very important to be your number one supporter. Like, believe in yourself, believe in your own capabilities. And to add to that, I also think na it's important to know yourself, like self-awareness. Because by knowing
True, true.
yourself means na you recognize your strengths and your weaknesses. And when you recognize where you're good at and what you still need to improve on, you would stop comparing yourself to others. Like, for example, I'm a fashion student and Bea is a comm student. And we both know where we're good at and what we still need to improve on. Like si Bea, she's good at public speaking, she's good at talking, she's so confident in front of the camera. And she's confident talking in front of many people because public speaking is one of her talents. And on the other hand, ako naman, public speaking is something that scares me. But that doesn't mean naman na I'm not good enough as a person, because as a fashion design student, I like being creative, I like styling, I like designing, and yeah. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that we have our own talents, and when we're self-aware, we would stop comparing ourselves to others because we know where to place ourselves. So I won't compare myself to Bea now. Why is she so good at public speaking and why am I not? Because it's like when you recognize your strengths and your weaknesses, you know where to place yourself. And when you know where to place yourself, there's a lesser chance of you comparing yourself to others.
True, true, true. Because, like, some people will always have something to say about you, but if you know yourself well, and if you know that you're so much more than what they think of you, then yeah, it wouldn't really be a big problem now. So I've been attending this workshop about self-awareness, self-empowerment, and making a change in the world. And something that they've mentioned earlier, because we had a talk about like finding your purpose, and then this was also brought up, like what would you do if you feel that, like when you feel insecure, or I guess when you compare yourself to other people who are in the same field. And what they mentioned was to really, instead of comparing, allow yourself to be inspired by them, to see them as not as competition, but rather as an inspiration, and as someone you could probably collaborate with or work together with, so that you could work towards reaching, I guess, your goals, or towards something bigger. And we always have to remember, I guess, that we're all uniquely and wonderfully made by God. So we all have our strengths and our defining characteristics. Really, we're all very unique human beings. So we shouldn't really just compare, let's say, what other people would be good at. We'd probably not probably wouldn't be your best or strongest suit, but then you'd be really good at this specific, like other specific thing. So yeah, I super agree with what you mentioned about finding your place and knowing your strengths, discovering it, because I feel that being self-aware would also be very, very helpful to you. And getting feedback from other people, that would really help you improve yourself as well. So, aside from that, do you have any more self love tips or anything that it really has helped you, I guess, become more inspired and have a deeper appreciation for things?
Okay, yeah. So another thing, ever since the start of quarantine, I've been using this app called Mood Tracker. Sa app na yon, you can track your moods in a day. Like for example, if you feel happy on that particular day, you take note of that, and you can also write there what made you happy or like what made you excited. So yeah, because with everything that has been happening around, it's very inevitable for me to get anxieties. So what really helped me to get rid of negative thoughts is the fact that I do keep a mood tracker with me. So yeah, I think it's also a good way to a good practice on how to be more positive.
Wow. Actually, parang na-share mo na yung app na yan before. Like, honestly, guys, I really learn a lot from Kay every day. Mga random share niya, like, about apps that she has discovered or videos. She'd share that with me. So, super duper helpful. I think that will actually also be helpful for you guys to have a self growth buddy, I guess, or someone to that you could share your journey with, or someone that could really motivate you. And again, that resonates with the part of having a really strong support system and to just really surround yourself with like minded people. And that's actually something good that you shared with everyone out there who's looking for like something concrete to do. So maybe they could start journaling first and foremost. I guess also to help them evaluate their emotions. So also, okay, I feel that this is actually something that you could share some stuff about, because I think that it also, I guess, affects your mindset or well-being, overall well-being, the fact that you're vegan or vegetarian. Like, because Kay has actually really been telling me to shift to that lifestyle, but okay, that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, can you share like how that has also helped you become a better person overall, and like your general well-being?
I do eat a lot of healthy food. So I've been indulging more on fruits and vegetables, and when they say na you are what you eat, I feel like it's true talaga kasi ever since I became a vegetarian, I feel like I had a more positive mindset. Like I became more productive, I became more um positive with the way I think.
And that's probably something that the listeners out there could try, shifting to a more sustainable lifestyle and to to a healthier lifestyle rather. So, since like, do you have any more stuff that you want to share, like insights about self-love or having a more positive mindset? Like, oh, okay, wait. How about your work environment? Because I know that you're one of the most organized people out there, and like your workspace, it usually affects your productivity. So, like, would you mind sharing with us like what worked for you, what type of workspace worked for you, etc., like your workroom?
Oh yeah, I think another factor that has been helping me to be more productive is the fact that I do have like a clean and organized workplace, because dito sa house namin I do have like my own study room. And yeah, so in my study room, yun talaga sobrang clean niya and sobrang organized, and sobrang nakaka-inspire to work and be productive if you have like a clean workplace.
Okay, okay, that's something to think about. Wow, that was a good talk. I learned a lot actually. I learned even more than usual, like on our usual chats. I learned a lot more today, and hopefully those people who are listening have learned a lot. And now we would be moving on to the Q&A part, because I did ask some people to send in their questions on the Beyond Surface Level Instagram account. And for those listeners out there, if you're not yet following the Instagram account, make sure to follow at Beyond Surface LVL. So that's level without the E's. So that you could send in some questions for the next podcast episode or suggest a specific topic that you'd want to focus on for the next one. So, anyways, moving on to the questions. Wait, let me just get the other ones. Wait. Okay, because we have a couple of questions here. Okay. So first one is, how do you respond to criticism and how do you know if it's constructive or just hate?
I think criticism is something that should be addressed properly and politely. And you know na it's a criticism when it's backed up with facts. While hate naman, its intention is to really attack the person and degrade the person and not really point out that certain action of the person. So, yeah, ang intention niya talaga is to attack you and degrade you as a person and not to, point out something that you can still improve on. In one of our classes in fashion school, we were taught the proper way to critique someone's work. So we've been using this method called kiss, kick, kiss. So basically, kiss, kick, kiss. Kiss is first you say something good about the work of that person, and then after you say something good, you criticize. You point out things that person can still improve on, and then you end your statement by saying something good and recognizing the effort of that person. So yeah, I think criticism really should be addressed properly and politely.
Yeah, I guess also points for improvement. Like for example, because yeah, usually when you give feedback, it's always important to, I guess, also give credit to that person for their hard work and the effort that they've put into that presentation or into that, like anything that they're doing, because of course they really worked hard for it. And they may, like, we all have some things to improve on. And I guess when you're giving feedback, yeah, just really do it in a way na you, I guess, praise them for the good that they've done, for the effort that they've made. Then give their your polite feedback after, like, okay, or you can say it then in a way that would be really constructive. So yeah, I guess to sum it up, what Kay and I are trying to say, that if some, you would know if it's criticism based on how they say it, and you would know if it's constructive if they're actually giving you some points for improvement and not just trying to degrade you or make fun of you, I guess. Okay, last question, and I think this is probably the most important question, I guess, that we could ask for today. And it is, kailan ka naging contented sa sarili mo and how? Or in English, when did you realize that you're contented with yourself and how did you come to that realization?
I feel like I became more contented with myself when I was able to distinguish my strengths and my weaknesses, because that's also the time when I stopped comparing myself to others, because I realized na I do have my own talents and that we're all unique and we do have our own individualities, and that I should stop comparing myself to others. So yeah, I think I became contented when I was able to recognize my strengths and my weaknesses.
Okay, okay. So, okay, for me naman, I guess really just this quarantine season, because this is really the time that I really focused on myself, self-love journey, and becoming a better person, becoming a, like, growing, I guess, and becoming more mature. And also, what has helped me, I guess, I forgot to add this earlier. What has also helped me was listening to other people, listening to their stories, and joining the workshop that it's actually still ongoing, but yeah, joining that workshop has worked so many wonders for me and for my friend who also joined it. So I encourage you guys that if you see any workshop that's related to, I guess, improving yourself and making a change in this world, because that's the workshop I'm attending right now. Shout out to Kids for Kids and Havilan team. But yeah, if you encounter any opportunities like that, go for it, and just try it out, because it would really, really, really change your life, I swear. So yeah, that's it, I guess, for my answers and for my own like tips that I could share apart from what Kay has been sharing. And yeah, okay, I know that you don't want me to do this, but do you have anything to promote? Because I know for sure that you have something to promote. And come on, the floor is yours. Go ahead and promote. Because Kay is a business owner, like what I mentioned on the Instagram page. She has her own business. She is a businesswoman. So go ahead, Kay. Come on, promote it. Promote it.
It's pronounced as Soigne. A lot of people have been asking me, how do you pronounce it? Ganyan, ganyan. It's Soigne. So yeah, follow it on Instagram.
At Soigne accessories. But yeah, thank you so much, Kay, for joining us on today's episode. You're our very first guest. So, okay, disclaimer lang, guys. Like, we tried recording so many times but just to also like test yung quality, etc. Because this is the first time that we're trying, the podcast. Now we're not together, and because obviously quarantine, and yeah, hopefully it would turn out well as I edit this, and I hope you guys learned a lot from both Kay and I. And if you have any more questions regarding the episode, or any insights that you'd want to share, or if you also have any additional like, yeah, questions that you weren't able to address, or you want us to explain further some things that we mentioned today, then feel free to drop them off, or send them over at Beyond Surface Level, Beyond Surface LVL. So that's level without the e's. And yeah, thank you so much for watching again or tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.